Hi, welcome to Social Abandoned Strategies. So nowadays, in almost all of my videos, I've been talking about INTJs all the time. And that's because I am an INTJ and I'm glad to share my ideas and thoughts, how I think to people. And I'm also pretty glad to find out and really relate to other INTJs. It's a good process. Anyways, so in this video, I'm also gonna be talking about INTJs. And today, I want to share some of the rules that INTJs have. But actually, it's not actually a rule, right? But most INTJs do that. Now, I said most INTJs, not everyone is going to do this. Because every person is different. Even though we might belong to the same personality type, we might still be different because we have unique characteristics. So anyways, let's get right into it. So the main question is this. How are introverts like us, who didn't use any special tricks to talk to others, can still be seen as confident? How do we manage to just stay in our room for most of the time and yet still make friends without being needy? And that is the big question that this channel will answer for you. Welcome to Social Abandoned Strategies. Welcome back. The first thing that I'm going to share with you is our first rule of being an INTJ is that we are so uncomfortable with flaws. Now, you might have already noticed it, you might not have, but doesn't matter. If you are an INTJ, there is a very high chance that you're not comfortable with flaws. Even it might be that you have some flaws, or it might be that others have some flaws, but mostly whenever we see some weakness even in ourselves, we try to improve ourselves. That's because we don't like to be weak, we don't like having some flaws. So whenever we see that, and we see that all the time, right? Because we're always thinking, we're always analyzing. So sometimes we overanalyze, we overthink, and we get lost in our thoughts. And before we do anything at all, we always think, and we think a lot about that thing and really prepare for that. So when we are going to do some projects or some assignments and such, we get so invested in it because we invest so much time and effort and energy. Even when we are eating, we are still thinking about those things sometimes, right? When we are really interested, of course. When we are not interested, we just don't care about it at all. So when we are interested, we are thinking about it all the time. So when we see some flaws in that project, we want to fix it. We don't just let it go because, we invested so much time and effort and lots of things in that project. We will feel really bad when the project fails, so we don't want it to fail. We try to keep it perfect. Now, I have learned that being perfect is not the answer. You cannot be perfect, really. You will not be happy if you think that you will only be happy when you are perfect, but you will be perfect when you are happy. So anyways, most INTJs have that mindset of we would try our best, right? It is a very good thing. Everyone else should do it. You should try your best. But the thing with INTJ is we try our best or we don't try at all. We don't go halfway there, halfway this. We don't do that, right? When we gonna do something, we give our best. We try to do everything with our, with lots of effort and lots of thinking. So when that project fails, then we feel really bad, and we don't want it to fail. Nobody wants their projects to fail. So that is why we try to be perfect sometimes. We try to, make it perfect and totally flawless. So I think that is the main reason that we are so uncomfortable with flaws, even when it's not our projects, even with ourselves, even with the world. When we see something, we just sometimes cannot live with it. And the second rule that we have is we are true to our own words. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is we are reliable, right? When we say something, we mean it. Like we really mean it. So when we say that we're gonna do this, then we're really gonna do that. And we're not just going to just do it a little bit and just leave it and just make you satisfied and such. Because for the most of us, we're gonna commit a lot into something when we say that we're gonna do that. We want things to be perfect sometimes, right? We want to really show you that we can do this. So we go a long way to fulfill our commitments. And so when we say that we're gonna do something, you better trust us, because we aim for perfection. Even though we might not have achieved it, we still aim for perfection. And we have a tendency to prepare for every single thing. We prepare for everything before we actually execute our plan. right? We think about things in advance and the worst possible scenario. So I have a tendency to think about the worst possible scenario, which is sometimes bad because I do it all the time. So I have to reduce those, and I'm trying to improve, but still need a lot of improvement. And the third rule that we have is we do not gossip. Now, gossiping is basically others' opinions and assumptions about others. So we don't really care about that. We know that gossiping might not be true. It might be true, it might not be not. We know that what you are saying is not entirely true because it includes your emotions. Now, when you are saying something with your emotions, then we know that it might not be actually true because there is a very high chance that your judgments are clouded by your emotions. And so as we know that fact, we don't really believe it when you are trying to tell us about others and such. We will believe it when we see it with our own eyes. We will like to think, and we will like to see things, and we will like to think and really analyze them. And we have our own opinions of things. We don't just listen to you, and we don't just take your words for it just because you say that, oh, he is really smart, oh, she is so bad. We don't listen to you much. We have our own opinions. And I think that it is a good sign because trusting people so much is not a good thing, because most people would just lie to you and take advantage of you when you believe everything that they say. So it's good that we are analyzing and really thinking through things, even noticing that people are talking with their emotions most of the time. Now, most people are very emotional, so it's not that we can't trust them, but when they are being emotional, their judgments and their words are pretty much coming from their emotions and not logical. So when they are saying something, it might not be facts. And as INTJs, we love facts and we love the truth. So if we want the facts, and if we really want the truth, it's better that if we find out ourselves, if we see things by ourselves, then we trust our own judgments. We don't trust others' judgments because we believe that most people are just so emotional, for us at least. And the fourth rule is we are always chasing for improvements. Now, I think it is true for most INTJs because it is true for me too. I am always chasing for new things, but only things which can improve me. Alright, seriously. Whenever I read something, I think about whether this can improve me or not. If it cannot improve me, or if I cannot get anything out of that, I don't usually tend to read those. I don't read those just for the fun of it, right? That's what I don't do. I'm not sure about you guys, but that's what I don't do. And I would like to improve all the time. So when I am on the train, coming back home or going to university, I usually think about things like, how do I improve? How do I make my life improve? How do I make relationships improve? Now, there are lots of things that I think about all the time. So yeah, anyways, I think mostly about how to improve. And I want to learn new things all the time. I think most INTJs are always craving for more and more information. We want to learn new things even though we have lots of knowledge about that thing already. We want to find people who can share their ideas and really teach us something, right? Also, we want to share our ideas and our thoughts. It is so peaceful, there's a good feeling about sharing your ideas and thoughts, and when someone tells you that they also feel the same, it's like you just found some happiness. But the thing is, the moment you think that you have learned something and mastered something that you don't have anything else to learn anymore, that's the moment that you don't really learn anymore. Your knowledge, the limit just stops there, right? You can't learn anymore because you believe that you have learned everything. Now, what I believe is we can never learn everything. So we just try and improve and learn as much as we can all the time. We're never gonna stop learning, really. And also, when we are learning, we also want our friends to learn too. We also want our family, we also want people around us who we really care to improve while we are improving. So we try to share our ideas, our thoughts, but sometimes they listen, sometimes they are not. We might be right, we might not be not, but anyhow, we still try to share because we want you guys to improve. We want our close circle of people to improve. So, this is one of the proof that we are good guys. We are not so cold-blooded dudes. We are good guys. The fifth rule is we feel others' feelings. Now, we are logical beings, right? We are always logical. We try to be logical all the time. Whatever we do, there's a logical reason behind it. And also, the thing is, we observe so much, we analyze so much that when we see something, when we see someone feeling some emotions, right? We try to think and analyze and get into their shoes and really experience it. We don't do that to, feel sad or feel emotional. It's not our intention. We just want to understand them better, so we try to get into their shoes. But then when we do that, sometimes we get too deep into their minds and too deep into that imagination, that thought, that analysis, and then we feel like we just experienced something that they experienced. It's like it happened to us. Doesn't matter if it's a good feeling or not. When we really analyze too deep into that, and when we really try to understand, we just feel it like it happened to us. So when they are feeling sad, we also feel really sad. When they are feeling happy, we also feel really happy. Now, I think it is a good thing sometimes when we are not feeling so sad. We don't want to feel sad anyway. So we might not be emotional. We are logical beings, right? So we are not so emotional. But at those times, I think we become a little bit emotional. I think we can say that sometimes we are also somewhat emotional. But after being emotional, we try to be logical again, right? Because afterwards, after being emotional, we analyze, we reflect on our emotions, how we felt that. How come we felt those emotions? How come we experienced those? How do we think that? We try to, trace back our steps and try to get to the source and, find out more information and learn from them. That's what we usually do. Now, to those who say that INTJs don't have emotions, I would say that that's totally wrong. INTJs do have emotions. We just don't express them much because we don't trust people. And when we show our emotions, we feel like we are showing our weakness to others, and we prefer to be logical at all times anyways. So anyways, those are the 5 rules for being INTJs. If you can relate to those, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And that's all for today, guys. Hey Introverted Warriors, thanks for watching. If you'd like to learn how to properly embrace your introverted qualities without feeling insecure, like the video, subscribe to this channel to be one of the Introverted Warriors, and watch another video of social independence strategies, and we'll talk again very soon. Remember, one right mindset is all it takes.